Hey guys, it's Lee. Sorry I haven't been very active lately. I just moved into a new house and I'm still trying to unpack everything. But I got all my computer stuff unpacked, so I'm good with updating this blog again. And I have to tell everyone this. While I was unpacking, I found a journal. It probably belonged to the other person who lived here. I don't usually read other people's journals, but I decided to take a look at it anyway. And I have no damn clue what to think of it. I'm just going to copy everything on this journal and post it here. This needs to be shown to the world. Friday, 7:05 p.m. I finally moved into a new house. I didn't really want to move, but my brother Oliver got a job, and we had to be closer to his work. I don't have a huge problem with it, but I wish he chose a nicer looking house. This one's a little run down. There's cracks and holes in the walls, and the carpet is disgusting. And I think I saw a mouse when I looked in the hallway mirror 20 minutes ago. I really hope Oliver will get some money from his job soon. We have to fix this place up. Saturday, 5:24 p.m. Today was interesting. While Oliver was at work, I almost had nothing to do around here. Even all of my friends were busy. Since I had nothing to do, I thought I would try and catch that mouse I saw yesterday. I took out a mousetrap from under the sink and began looking around the house to find a good place to put it. Eventually, I put the trap by one of the cracks in the hallway and went to my room. But as soon as I went into my room, I saw something that was weird. My room had these big sliding closet doors that were also mirrors, and when I looked at my reflection, I saw someone behind me. It was a young boy. He looked about 7 or 8. He was wearing these old-style clothes. I think they were called Victorian? I think that was it. His hair was blonde and somewhat curly, and his eyes were green. The weird thing was that he wasn't doing anything. He was just standing there, staring at me. I had no clue on how this kid got into my house without me knowing, but I knew I should ask him how he got in and bring him back to his mother. I turned around to talk to him. Hello, how did you... Before I could finish my sentence, he was gone. I don't mean like he walked away. He just disappeared. I began to look everywhere around the house, but I found no trace of him. Just around that time, Oliver came home. I told him about what had just happened, and his reaction was not the one I expected. He thought I was joking. I kept telling him that I wasn't. Eventually, he said he would keep an eye out for the kid, but I really don't think he will. Sunday, 8:10 p.m. That kid was here again today. I was walking down the hallway and I saw him in the mirror's reflection. He did the same thing as he did yesterday, though. Standing there, not moving, just watching me. How does this kid even find his way into my house? I keep all the doors and windows locked while Oliver is at work. I turned around to try to talk to him and he disappeared again. But as soon as I looked back in the mirror, he came back. It was creeping me out so much I had to get out of my house. Before I even opened the front door to go out, I saw that mouse again. It looked like it ran into the living room. I didn't want that rodent running around the house, so I quickly walked back into the hallway, carefully picked up the mousetrap, and put it by a small hole in the living room wall. Once I was done with that, I went outside and sat down on the porch for a while. Soon, Oliver came home. I tried telling him about that kid again, but just like last time, he didn't believe me. Though he did believe me when I mentioned the mouse. He didn't look too happy about it, but he looked relieved when I mentioned that I had set up a mousetrap. Monday, 7:32 p.m. Today, I went around the neighborhood to ask about that kid to see if anyone knew who he was. For a while, I didn't get any information. Soon, I came across a man who happened to be a history teacher at one of the nearby colleges. I told him about what happened, and he seemed pretty curious. He asked me where I lived. I told him, and he nodded. He told me this. Around the 1800s, a man and his son used to live in the same place where I live now, but it was a completely different house. I can't remember the father's first name, but I sure do remember the kid's. His name was Samuel Kingsley, but everyone called him Sammy. He was a well-behaved kid and liked to play with alphabet blocks. His father always tried to raise him to be a gentleman, and I think they lived happily together. But one day, Sammy began acting strange. He started staring into all the mirrors in his house. He wouldn't eat, sleep, or even talk to anyone. This went on for days until his father began having a doctor to come over to see Sammy. The doctor said he was mental. Mr. Kingsley wasn't too happy to hear that. He recommended that Sammy be put into a hospital, but he didn't want to do it. Soon, Sammy began playing with his alphabet blocks again, but he always spelled out things like, "I can see you," or "Milo." His father was really getting worried about him. Then one morning, Sammy disappeared. Mr. Kingsley looked everywhere for him, but couldn't find him, until he looked into one of the mirrors. Sammy was in the mirror's reflection, watching his father. I'm not sure what happened right after that because the history teacher began mumbling. I told him to speak up a little, and he did, just when he was getting to the near end of the story. He said about a month later, Mr. Kingsley died of unknown causes. Lots of people say he died in his sleep, but I'm not too sure about that. A few years later, with nobody living in Mr. Kingsley's old house, they tore it down. Then around 1973, they built the house I live in right where the old house used to be. At this point, the history teacher complained that he was late for something important, and he ran off. I'm a little upset that I didn't get to hear the entire story, but I'm glad I talked to him about this. I now know about Sammy, and I know that it's him I've been seeing in my house. Maybe I can try talking to him. Tuesday, 5:09 p.m. Okay, well, talking to Sammy didn't seem to work because all he did was the same thing he's been doing. Also, today I heard a very loud snap sound. I knew that it was the mousetrap. At first I thought, "Aw, hell yeah, that's what you get, you rodent!" But when I walked over to where the trap was, the mouse wasn't there. The trap went off, but it didn't catch that damn mouse. Well, that's just great. Then huge chunks of the ceiling decided to fall on me and leave a giant hole in the ceiling. But that's not all. Turns out that another bunch of objects fell on me too. This time they were blocks. Alphabet blocks. A bunch of them landed on my head, and that really hurt. And that's not the craziest part. I left the house to go get the broom from outside to clean up the mess, but when I got back in, the chunks from the ceiling were gone. The blocks were still there, and they were all arranged to spell out, "Don't hurt Milo." Milo? Who's Milo? I remember that history teacher mentioning Sammy used to spell out Milo with his alphabet blocks, but I'm not even sure who Milo is. But I didn't care. I just set the trap again and put it in the other room of the house. Also, I had the best opportunity to prove Oliver that Sammy was here, though it didn't end well. Right around when he came home, I was in my room, and Sammy was in the mirror's reflection. I just thought, this is great, now Oliver will have to believe me. I quickly ran over to Oliver and took him back to my room. Sammy was still in the reflection. I just pointed at him and said, "See? Right there! I told you!" Unfortunately, the only thing my brother said was,
"I don't see anyone else in this room."
"What? You really don't see him? He's right there!"
Yumi, I really don't see anything. Look, can we not do this right now? I've had a long day at work.
After that, he just went to his room to lie down. I couldn't believe it. Sammy was right there. Right there. And yet Oliver couldn't see him? I guess I'm the only one who can see him. Great. Oliver must think I'm going nuts. But Sammy must have been pretty damn happy because as soon as my brother said he didn't see anyone else in the room, he just gave me this twisted smile. My God, it was unnerving. I thought maybe I would show Oliver the alphabet blocks, but they were gone. I have no idea what happened to them. Even the hole in the ceiling disappeared. How is that even possible? Ugh. Someday. Hopefully tomorrow will be better. Wednesday, 6:48 p.m. That mouse is dead. I heard a loud snap sound, went over to the trap, and there it was. Hooray! That's one less thing to worry about. And I didn't see Sammy at all today. Good thing, too. He was starting to really freak me out. Same day, 11:45 p.m. I just saw the scariest thing that I have ever seen in my life. I was asleep until I woke up to this loud banging noise. It sounded like someone hitting my closet door. At first I thought it was Oliver, so I just sat up and said, "Oliver, why are you But it wasn't my brother. It was Sammy hitting my closet mirrors. He was hitting the doors so hard that they were shaking, like he was trying to get out. He looked angry, really angry. I just ran out of my room without even thinking about it. That's it. I'm sleeping in the living room from now on. There's no mirrors in there. Thursday, 3:09 p.m. I don't understand. I'm seeing him everywhere now, not just at my house. I went out to see one of my friends at the coffee place, and I went to use the bathroom. Right when I got in there, I saw Sammy in the mirror, watching me. I didn't even want to deal with that, so I just ran out of the bathroom in a panic. My friend wanted to know what happened while I was in there because I looked horrified. I just told her nothing happened. Even if I did tell her about Sammy, she wouldn't believe me either. But she said, "Nonsense, you look like you saw something. See?" She took out her pocket mirror and showed it to me. But I didn't just see me in that small mirror. I saw Sammy right behind me, and he had that horrible smile on his face. I just ran out of there without saying a word. I'll have to apologize to my friend later for just bailing like that. I honestly don't know what's going on. I'm not just seeing him at my house anymore. I see him every time I look at something that has a reflective surface. Stop following me, Sammy! Friday, 10:08 p.m. I don't know what to do. I can't get one moment of peace without that damn kid staring at me. And last night it was even worse. He tried to fucking kill me. It happened like this. My brother noticed I was sleeping in the living room and made me go back to my room. I tried telling him I couldn't, but he wouldn't listen. So I went into my room and I noticed that Sammy wasn't in the mirror's reflection. I just sighed in relief. I thought I would get a decent night's sleep in my own room, but I was wrong. I woke up in the middle of the night feeling terrible. My throat was hurting and I couldn't breathe right. I couldn't even get up. It was like there was a weight on top of me. All I could do was look around the room with my eyes. And when I looked in the mirror, I saw Sammy sitting on top of me with his hands around my neck. I screamed, and out of panic, I began to move around like crazy, trying to get him off. But he was still hanging on to me. With every passing second, it was getting harder and harder for me to breathe. I thought I would die, but my brother came banging into my room. The second he did that, Sammy disappeared, and I was able to breathe again.
What the heck are you screaming about?
He looked pretty pissed at me for waking him up, but it wasn't my fault. Sammy tried to kill me. I knew Oliver wouldn't believe me even if I did try to tell him that, so I had to lie. I had a nightmare. The look on my brother's face changed once I said that. He still looked angry, but he also looked concerned. He walked over to me and gave me a hug.
It's okay. You're safe now,
he said. I actually felt relieved when he did that. I hugged him back without saying a word. As soon as I stopped hugging my brother, Sammy came back and gave me this grim look. He got out some alphabet blocks from his pocket and spelled out, "Your brother can't help you." I nearly had a heart attack. I didn't want to spend another second alone, so I asked Oliver if I could stay in his room. Thankfully, he said yes. Saturday, 12:07 p.m. I asked Oliver if I could go to work with him, but he said it wasn't allowed. I'm just going to stay in the living room for today. Even though there are no mirrors in here, I had to cover everything that had a reflective surface in there. I don't want to see him again. As soon as I was done covering everything in the living room, a bunch of alphabet blocks fell from the ceiling, and they all spelled out, "You hurt Milo." And right after that, more blocks came down and spelled out, "I'm coming." Oh no, Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, no. Just stop. Leave me alone. I don't know how much longer I can last. I have to write down as much as possible. I just heard a loud crash coming from my room. I don't want to take a look. Now I'm hearing footsteps. I really hope it's just Oliver. They're getting closer. That's not Oliver. It's Sammy. I can see him and he's coming and he's not even in the mirror. What's going on? Go away! Go away! He just said, die to me. The rest of the pages were illegible except for the very last one. And this is what the last page says. She hurt Milo. Guys, seriously, this is one of the creepiest things I have ever read in my life. I really hope that this is some kind of joke. I'm not one to believe in this kind of stuff, but this is actually giving me second thoughts. I must be tired from unpacking everything. Well, guys, I'll keep you updated on what's going on, and I will see you next time. Lee.